Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Trading Floor with your humble host, Angie Barbosa, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding you to love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, traders? Got one of my favorite people here in the world joining us in the afternoon, Dan Walsh. What's up, buddy? Long time no see, and by long time I mean hours. It's probably been a few hours since I've seen your name, but I missed it nonetheless. Liz, what's going on, Liz? Richard, Big K, what's up, my man? Today is Transportation Thursday. Got a lot to talk about. My water glass is empty. I forgot to fill it. I was so excited to tell Angie something that I didn't get water. I'll hop down there at some point later after the show and get some water. I've been drinking water all day. Had a really good workout. Just got back from the gym. One of the best workouts I've ever had. That's usually when good stuff comes flowing. So I got some good ideas. All kinds of good stuff I want to share with you guys. Man, the future is just so bright. I'm just so excited about life. I love it. Man, I am pumped. All right. Transports. Thursday. Here's the SPY. And what do we got on the spiders? So the SPY, as of today, we got two spreads out there. My buddy Stan is in a overnight spread. He messaged me about that earlier. 204.50, 203.50 bull put spread expiring tomorrow. So he's got about 24 hours left on that. The one I got in today for, let me update this, 11 cents expiring April was the 202 bull put spread, which is a credit spread. So again, just kind of explaining where I'm coming up on that. You know, we broke this high. That trapped me. I figured it's going to trap some other people. I think there's a very, very small chance we break below here. My thought is if we break below there, I'm just going to throw my hands up and go, oh, what the heck. I have no idea what the market's doing for the short term. And just, I have no idea. If we break that level, that's... soon, not in the future, just in the next 2 weeks. If we break that support in the next 2 weeks, I'd have no clue what the market's doing. I probably just won't have any index trade for the next 3-4 months if we break that low in the next 2 weeks. But let's talk about all the support that it has, the 201, 200. So number one, we do have a gap action. White candle gapped up, so that's a retest gap. So it makes sense that we're retesting. This makes a lot of sense, in fact. Number two, the 201 is below this pivot. Third check mark, it's below the 200 simple moving average. Fourth and fifth check mark is it's below the 10 and the 20 exponential moving averages. And really one of the bigger check marks is the 202, 201 is below the 100 simple moving average on a weekly chart, an entire dollar below that. So unless the SPY closes below 201.95, I won't worry about that one at all. Unless SPY closes below 201.95, no cares. No cares. So this week so far is shaping up to be a new white soldier on a weekly. We did get the black candle. Obviously, as you guys know, it didn't roll over like I necessarily wanted it to. Lost an R and say la vie, such as life. So that's the analysis that I got on the SPY. Again, yes, this does look a little bit like an evening star. Yes, you're getting a lot of analysts saying the market's going to roll over right there, but I just think that bounce is serious. Unless, of course, again, there's a 1% chance. I really do think a 1% chance that occurs. There's probably a 7% chance it does something like that if we're going to roll over here. And if we do, that's fine. But again, if it just happens in the next 2 weeks, I'll be scratching my head. I'll be dead wrong. And I probably will create my plan that I'm not going to do any SPY trade for the next, 3 months if it breaks that level in the next 2 weeks. So as of right now, March, kind of like my cycle of spreads. December was amazing. January was amazing. February was amazing. March was like, whoa! So I think all of those are done. So I'm hoping to hit my string of winners again. April, May, June, and then probably July will be the month where I have to unravel like 9 things. And as long as I do it correctly, it will be a profitable one. Here's the Qs. QQQ, a little bit of a flag pattern, very slight volume the last few days. Here's the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones, again, guys, this is very commonplace. White candle gapped up. All of this is a retest. I think that makes a lot of sense. Here's the IWM, which is the Russell ETF. I think we're going to come back up to the 200 once we retest a little bit more and bounce. And then here's the IYT, which is the Transportational Index. And the Transportational Index is indeed above the 200. Here it is on the weekly chart. Weekly chart, we're smack dab in the middle. Smack dab in the middle. You got some nice lower highs coming in. So here's your lower highs on the transport. Boom, boom, boom. We broke through that, and we're retesting a little bit. And again, I think we kind of smidgen ourselves higher into 148. So that's really kind of my analysis at this point from the market. Since we didn't roll over, I'm thinking that we just kind of it's going to be an ugly move higher, but I think we slowly cruise our way just a little bit higher in the overall indices. Ladies and gentlemen, questions, concerns, thoughts, or any opposing viewpoints that you might have, which I fully love. I love me some feedback. Especially when you guys are like, nope, you're wrong. This is what's going on. I just love looking at your guys' charts, really. No, you good? All right, cool. Ray, what's going on, big man? Hope we're doing well. Man, I'm pumped to see you guys. All right. Well, let's go look at some airlines then. And let's go into the second credit spread that I have out there. And this is a 44-45 bear call spread. So the good news is these spreads have 2 weeks after Friday. So 2 weeks and a day. So 44-45, you got the 100 simple moving average there. You got the high of this candle. You have a lot holding this back. Yes, that could kind of play out. This could play out like that. We can kind of continue higher. But I think I might have the timing correct on this one. We'll have to see. But it looks to me like it might be forming a very small inverted head and shoulders. We just kind of pull back down to this area. And then you got earnings. So this gap is really one of the reasons I like this spread as well. Number one. Number two, you're above the 100, 200 simple moving averages. Here's the volume. So I'm in that spread. As far as the other spread, so as of yesterday, I mentioned I'm considering the 38.37, which is right about here. And that also expires in 2 weeks. I'm going to be watching that kind of closely tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a ... on that one. ... And if tomorrow it's about 7, 8, maybe 10 cents, I might consider that one pretty close, pretty seriously. And I won't worry about it unless it closes below 38.72. So that's likely going to get into that condor tomorrow. So again, it'll look like this, 44.45 and then 38.37. And overall, if that fills, I'm looking for like an 18-cent condor, and that'd be sweet. You know, nice little 18-center. And call it a day. So we've done a lot of work on American Airlines. Here again, here's the weekly perspective, and you can see we're battling the 100, but these are some lower trend lines that we're coming in. And yes, we do have a series of higher lows. So if you look at American Airlines, and I know I might be one of the last remaining bulls out there in the market, you know, kind of talking about how there's a chance the market could spring out of all this. And I think there is that chance. If you look at American Airlines, you're noticing some lower highs coming in and some higher lows, and we're trading sideways. You know, I mean, if the market just really picks up some steam and we just go berserk, that's going to be an amazing, amazing breakout on American Airlines. Some of the other airlines don't look that bad. I mean, they're not getting beat up that much. Jet fuel with oil is coming down, so the profits on some of these airline stocks should be increasing. So with earnings, you know, travel season coming up, maybe it breaks out of this triangle. I'm not saying it will, but if it does, I'll be ready for it. Some of you might say, okay, well, Newsom, what's your kind of indicator for that to occur? Really start moving above the 100 simple, which is about 43.18. I'll dig it. If you like American Airlines, you go, you know what? I'm a big fan of the stock anyway. I've been wanting me some shares. I'm going to buy me some shares around 40 or 38 or 39. All right, cool. You know, it's a good company. It pays good covered calls, and we look at it every single week. So just something to consider. American Airlines, done. Let's go look at a few of the other airlines. Delta. So here's Delta Airlines, and not too long ago, I was considering the bear call spread. Still am, but there's no money unless you do something like right here. And the reason I don't want to do a 52 is because that is kind of at the resistance. I want to do something above resistance, and there's just really no premium there on Delta. Here's what Delta looks like on a weekly chart. In the weekly chart, Delta is nicely above the 100 simple. Had some really good bounces off the 100 simple on a weekly chart on Delta. Those two occasions right there. And you got a little bit of resistance approximately at $50.64. So higher lows coming in, relative highs, a little bit of a breakout right there. That was a retest gap, and we have retested. So if we start breaking through some of that action on Delta, could be a little bit bullish. Super pumped that earnings season is coming up. Man, I've been ready for that. Seems just like yesterday. Seems like yesterday. So earnings late April. You know, I wonder what kind of put sale premium is down there at 40. What expiration is this? The 20th. Ooh. All right, let me look at Delta and see what an April week 5 put sale at 40 would be. Because, again, I don't mind owning shares of an airline, either Delta, American. Delta just seems like it has a little bit of a smaller support. As you all know, my favorite airlines, hands down, Southwest. Because we have a few real-life traders who are Southwest pilots. And we have some Delta and American Airlines, too. But... you know, if you guys are out there, I haven't gotten any free flights yet from you guys. Come on now. Let's see here. 40. Ooh. Gosh, that's wretched. 4150 has something down there. Gross. That is not looking good. What about last week of April? There's definitely a bid-ask spread down there for the last week of April. All right, I'm going to write this in, and I'm going to be looking at this a little bit tomorrow. 3/31. Today's the last day of March. Wowie, wow, wow, wow. 3/31/16. Consider April week 5 $40 put sale if you don't mind owning shares. So that is over earnings. And yes, we could make it down to 40 by then. But again, at $40, I wouldn't be afraid to pick up a share or two to add good support. You know, buy low, sell high. That whole adage. Sweet. All right, American Airlines done. Delta Airlines done. Let's pick on Hawaiian Airlines. Liz says it's April Fool's Day here. Oh, I know. You and your future time telling abilities. Liz lives in the future. We live over here in the past. April 1st. Not the biggest fan of practical jokes. I think a few of you guys know that. So all of my close friends know not to do anything to me tomorrow. And here's the thing. I just simply say, hey guys, I don't do them to you. You know, if you do them to me, I just won't like it. I don't know why I don't like practical jokes. I think they're just a waste of time. Maybe I have to dig into my mind to figure out exactly why it is. I'm a humorous guy. You guys know that. I like jokes. I like, having a good time. But practical jokes are, when you just do something that's kind of like annoying. I don't know, but we'll see. I don't know why that is. I don't know why I'm like that. But anyway, tomorrow's April Fool's. So you don't have to expect any weird email from me. Like, I quit. I'm done with trading. Just kidding. You're not going to get anything like that from me. Just letting you guys know. Hawaiian Holdings. Okay, so you guys might remember I had a little bit of a wager on Hawaiian Airlines based on that little doji right there. Wasn't correct. Dead wrong, in fact. And we'll be paying that wager in the next few weeks to a few people around here. So Hawaiian Airlines broke through the all-time high. Honestly, just looks like it's going to do one of these numbers and probably continue a little bit higher. So what's that? $47. 47. When I was in Hawaii, man, Johnny was just talking all about this stock at 12. He's like, I'm going to buy the crap out of it at 12. And just really bounced beautifully well. So it is nice and high. Nice and high. Hawaiian Airlines, done. I don't have an exact trade on it. Just I'd like it to pull back a little bit. Alaska Airlines, so the last trade setup we had on Alaska looked a little bit like this. It was an aggressive trade. I didn't make it official because I figured something like that would occur, where it would be an okay trade. Maybe you could pull off one R, but that'd be about it. I looked at doing a put sale on Alaska Airlines not too long ago, which is down here in this general area. A few of you did that put sale. I didn't get a chance to. I guess I forgot about it or something. Anyway, so Alaska Airlines did trade up a little bit higher, bounced nicely off the long terms. Gorgeous bullish gap and go here on this day, which is the 11th of March. And trade continued a little bit higher. Here's a resistance level on Alaska. And you can see we're trading right into that price. So with earnings coming up, probably a good spot to hop into a covered call, maybe for April. And then you could get into another one for May over earnings. So for just the few of you who have some shares out there of Alaska. Again, that's why we look at the same stocks over and over and over, because a few of you just asked me to. Like, hey, I own this stock. Will you check it out often? I'm like, yeah, sure. 85 is paying a pretty hefty premium for April. 85 at 55 cents. Not bad. I would not mind. I don't have shares of Alaska, but if I did, I wouldn't really mind getting rid of them at that price. Covered call, April, 55-cent limit. Okay, right on. Sweetness, sweetness. There's Alaska Air Group. Done. That's really all I got for it at this moment. Okay, I looked at this one. Cool. So those are all the airlines. Let's go check out AutoZone. So our boy Stan also has an AutoZone spread. I never got filled and ended up canceling the spread. But Stan is in. Stan J, April, 820, 830, bear call spread. It has been battling the all-time high right here. And last time we looked at it, I was like, hey, Stan, is that the all-time high, man? All-time high breakouts have been terrible. Probably going to get something that looks a little bit like this. In this particular environment, maybe something like this. So it is definitely battling. You've got some higher lows. You've got a relative high. You don't really want to unravel this spread because the bid ask on those options are just horrendously, horribly awful. And it makes for a bad week. So just obviously stand on it. You got your eyes on it. You had a really gorgeous high wave doji candle right here. Almost a perfect doji. So my anticipation is that AutoZone pulls back just a little bit higher, and it's yeah, it looks good. I don't really see anything on it yet that says, you know what, let's not be bearish, but you got a possibility that we could gap down and form one of these patterns. So if anything, again, another high that they break out, all-time high would be about 811.50. So if it breaches that, and you're coming into expiration, you could just exit both options and just call it a day. But if at any point, since the only thing we really have up here is this resistance at this particular point in time, that's the only thing we have, and there's no other check marks. Let me check Bollinger Bands. We probably got inside the Bollingers, and that I don't know. Here's the daily. Yep, we pierced the top band, so that's not really a warning signal. Weekly chart, we didn't get into the top band, so that might be a good thing. Upper band is at 816, so that might be a little bit of a reversal signal. So maybe you could have a stop at 815, because if it gets into that top band, I think it might kind of continue up a little bit. But that's what I got so far on AutoZone. I think it's going to pull back just a tad. All right, sweet. AutoZone done. Caterpillar. Man, guys, you did some great analysis on Caterpillar. We went bearish on Caterpillar here. Boom, boom. Very simple. Got stopped out. And here's what we came up with as of the 17th of March. Hey, we got stopped out. Let's allow for a pullback, bounce, retest, and we could be bullish from there. Booyakasha! There it is. There is the pullback, bounce, retest. Gapped right into pretty much the same trigger where we went bearish. Was the same trigger to go bullish. Right into the 20. Nice little bounce on Caterpillar. So if you're in bullish on that one, cool. That's really all the analysis I have on Caterpillar. There's a little bit of resistance right there. Bam. There's some resistance there. Bam. And some resistance right there. You're continuing to make higher lows. Yes, I do think that CAT could roll back down and kind of bounce again and kind of form something like that. Is just my opinion. Obviously, the bearish trade didn't work, but here's what Caterpillar looks like on a weekly. So on a weekly chart, you didn't have that many white candles in a row. You had a black candle there, 1, 2, 3, a little bit of a doji, bullish candle, bearish candle, bullish candle again. So it looks like we're bouncing off the 50, and at this point, I think that analysis reigns true. If you are not in and you want to get in on Caterpillar again, this is just kind of like a flip of our position, flip the script, because we were in bearish, now we're going to try again in bullish. Something about here, with a stop there, pull back into that support would probably make a lot of sense. Or maybe pull back right into the 20. So let me kind of update that analysis. 3, 31, 16. If not in, could buy the bounce off of the 20 EMA. Caterpillar, Darren. Alrighty then. What to look at next? Let's look at NCLH. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Norwegian had some other really good analysis. I'm not in this trade on Norwegian, and I don't know anyone who is. If you are, let me know. But this is really just some analysis that I got reminded of after this gap that occurred yesterday. So we had this gap on our day trading watch list yesterday. Never got into it. But really what it looks like to us was an intense V-bottom. So there's the V-bottom, and there's the buy the bounce. Boop! Right there. Either that one or that one. So again, I'm not in that trade personally. Had a nice little neckline looking thing right there. Maybe even an invert head and shoulders, depending on how you draw it. Neckline could have been there. Neckline could be there. Neckline could be the blue line. It really all depends on how you draw it. But regardless, I figured I'd look at, just in case anyone is in that, it does appear that it's working. Traded to a target today. 200 simple moving average is just really target number 1. Here's the weekly, and you had a really, on Norwegian, man, had a solid drop. Came all the way back to old resistance back in here, new support. That's why we figured it was a V-bottom. And guys, this is a beautiful V-bottom. Check that out. Bam, right into the 100 simple on a weekly. Classic. I'm a classic gap. Look at me, no candles on the screen. I'm a classic gap. Lovely. So that's Norwegian. We're rocking on up, about 2% up on the day. And from here, if you're wondering what I think is going to happen, you got 5 white candles in a row. Volume's increasing. This is a retest gap. Calling for a little bit of a pullback on Norwegian. Probably some chop around here. And then a break up or down on earnings. Boom. Okay. Race. We've been keeping our eye on Ferrari IPO. And this might become a new favorite of ours. Volume is a little bit light, agreed. And the interesting thing is the 100, it just formed the 100 simple moving average. But I do think that this is a nice little higher low right here. And I think the longer we keep our eyes on this, the more I like to trade. Especially as and if it trades sideways a little bit in here and then breaks above. Maybe a close above 43.52. Something like that. So we'll continue to give Ferrari IPO just a little bit more time to, to battle, to trade sideways. You got a little bit of support resistance right there. But you had some lower highs kind of coming in on Ferrari. It's kind of a terrible drawing. Let me let the trend line do the job. Something like this. That was kind of the trend line. It broke through that. Retest a little bit. I don't know. It looks okay. Here's your exponential moving averages. Volume is not amazing on Ferrari, but for anyone looking to trade it, it is sideways right now. And that's why I want an end of day close. If it closes above there, I would be a little bit more bullish than bearish. All right, race done. Let's go look at the 2 stocks. General Motors and Ford. So Lita was looking at a 33, 32, 30, 29 Condor expiring tomorrow. So So if you are in that particular trade, which a few of you are, because when Lita talks, we listen, right? The high of this candle is 31.93, and that's that bearish candle right in there. Right now, for most purposes, General Motors is pretty sideways. So if you do have that iron condor, again, expiring this upcoming Friday, which is tomorrow, I would have my stop 331.16 above, expires tomorrow. Stop for bear call spread is 31.95. Stop or alert or whatever you want. And the reason I say that is because here's another high. The high of this candle is 31.78. So I could also say or 31.78. I did take a sneak peek at GM a time or two because it looked amazing yesterday. And then today's candle was like, you know. So we're still trading sideways on General Motors. Here's your long-term moving averages. Long-term moving averages, we can battle those. And really, I might kind of consider another bear call on GM as that pattern's kind of shaping up. A little bit of a higher low, a little bit of a lower high, and you know, maybe hop into something like this. Here's your bigger head and shoulders pattern. Breakdown, never really retested, just kind of sold off into a strong support. There's your new white soldier candle at support, and a nice little bounce from there. So General Motors doing its thing. Let me throw Lita an email. I'll look through her, look for the name. She's not here right now. Lita, GM IC, just FYI. Here's my analysis. Bam. That's how fast I send an email. In case you guys ever want to know how I do it so fast, I just wrote an entire email right then. Probably like, no, he's exaggerating. Nope. Just got it out. All right, General Motors, done. Here's Ford, ticker symbol F. Ford. And Ed Reed, a.k.a. Brad's dad, was in some put sales. He's in some shares of Ford. Niels, I think, is in some shares of Ford. Let me see if Niels is here. I think his went away on the covered call. So right now, kind of similar to GM, you're getting a little bit of a pattern like this very small distribution phase. It's in between the long-term moving averages, and you know, as of back in here, we did not close below 1272. So I said a close below 1272, and I'm definitely more bearish. Hasn't happened yet. I don't have an exact trade set up on Ford. Ford and GM, for some weird reason, I have this like mental block about why I can't trade them. I have no idea. But there's a lot of you who got shares of these too, so don't let me scare you. And you guys never have, but yeah, I'm just saying. Ford, it looks good, honestly. It does not look bad. There's definitely a little bit of a pennant pattern thing forming here. Volume has declined on that move, and I personally thought Ford was going to do this. That's what I thought it was going to do based on all that bearish volume. And theoretically, it still could, but if you got shares on Ford, I'd probably hang out tight for a little bit, give it some room to pop up in here into 14, and then snag yourself a 15 June, July covered call on ticker symbol F. Ford. Done. All right. Norfolk Southern. Woo-wee. We're moving today. Man, we're picking up some steam. We got ourselves 31 more minutes left still in the class, and we're still looking at Norfolk Southern, man. Looking good. Norfolk Southern. Ticker symbol NSC. So the last time we were looking at this, a few of you got some, well, actually, I only know one. One person has some shares of this. Last time we looked at NSC, I mean, honestly, based on that volume profile, we were saying, okay, there's a support resistance right here. If it breaks out of that, comes back down to that level and trades higher, we got ourselves a bullish perspective. Here's the weekly chart on ticker symbol NSC, and right now we got a little bit of a warning signal on NSC for you who have shares. For you person. And maybe there's more of you, I just only know of one. 86.15 is the 2 hundo simple moving avro on the Weeco chart. 86.15, really strong resistance there. So let me look over here in April and see what kind of covered call we got at maybe 87.50. So we're going to pause here a little bit, and I think we're going to kind of battle this zone. If I'm doing a wave count, it looks like an ugly 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is probably 5. Now theoretically, it could just go as high as it is. It doesn't have to go any higher. Because that wave count inside that, you got a 1, 2, 3. 3-wave extension, that's always good. And inside the 1, you got a 1, 2, 3. So I think that's a pretty strong count on Norfolk. And yeah, 87, 88, both have okay premium. 87s is not too shabby. Where is 87? The high of this candle was 86.66. 87, and you'd be getting paid at least 50 cents. Covered call, April, 50 cents, 87. Again, that's just locking a little bit in at the pretty much right above the 200 simple moving average. Got a big high wave candle. I would imagine for a week or two we stay within that range of that candle. That's just my take on Norfolk Southern. Woo! Come on now. Come on down to Paul's house. Get some lemonade and some iced tea. Let's go check out UPS. What can Brown do for you? UPS, Solange had some shares of UPS back in here. She bought those shares to kind of offset a bear call spread that we ran that, safe to say, didn't really work amazingly well. And by safe to say and by amazingly well, it means I lost money on it. Boo! But was nothing really could do about that one. That one just hosed me. Gorgeous gap right here, though. I loved everything about that gap. RC looked to play some bullish positions on that one. He had some calls that worked out well, some great volume. So I believe Solange exited some or most of her shares at this resistance level because, again, she bought into here. She had some put sales back in here, held through this V bottom on the put sale, and expired worthless. So it's looking good. Again, back to UPS on the weekly. Here's your resistance level. That's where we're at. It obviously can go higher from there, but this is unsustainable. This trend that we're in on UPS on a weekly chart. I mean, the last time we had a trend even remotely like that was right here. So there is a pullback coming on UPS. It's just not a sustainable weekly trend. Little too straight up. So I'm not buying UPS up here is what I'm trying to get at. Now, saying all that to say, here's a little bit of an evening star reversal pattern at or near a resistance. So, you know, take a bite of the snake that bit you. Is that how the saying goes? Get a bite from the snake that's going to bite you so you don't get bitten again? Something to that extent. So I'm thinking about getting bit again. Or taking a bite to not get bit again. Lita, I do. Yes, ma'am. Maybe even a collar. I was just talking about you, by the way, Lita. Didn't know if you were here when I was talking about you. I'm always talking about you at some point, though. It's always good things. Just talking about how much of a legend you are. You know, how amazing, that kind of thing. Just the average, just the norm. Just the usual. Interesting. 109, 107. 107, 109, or 109, 110. Or 107, 110. Where's 107? Oh, man. 107 is... The highs of these candles, 107.25 and 107.32. Shoot. 109, 110 just doesn't really do it for me. And then earnings are going to be before them. All right. Especially if the week ends like this. And again, I would say, I mean, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. that could happen as well, just playing devil's advocate a little bit. But we will pull back a little bit on UPS or consolidate sideways here because this trend is just unsustainable on a weekly, especially for UPS. All right, 331.19. Newsom says UPS will pull back or consolidate here. Lita looking into protective puts. Weekly candle shows a doji thus far, and daily has a tad. Evening star reversal. Looked for a bear call spread, but no money. No money. Sweet. All right, that's my analysis on UPS. In regards to what protective put, if we're up here, my thought is we might as well get one that covers us for May, and that would just be May 20th. So a little bit of an out of the money May 20th, maybe a 97.50 or 100 could be a possibility. And then you would definitely want a covered call that could potentially pay for it. The July, which is really far out there, 110. The July 110 covered call would pay for a 100 May protective put. So it looks something like this. So it's not a bad collar. July is just really kind of far away. I'd prefer it to be June. But 110's here. 105. I'm sorry, 100 is here. It's pretty nice in the range, but that would be it's either that or there's really, you'd probably have to wait for Monday to get a new week, because now you got May and July. That's really about it, or April week 5. So if you're going to buy a protected put up here, you might as well buy one that covers earnings, would be my thought. And yep. You know me, I love my collars. So 110, 100 cover me until May. When you got 2 full months of protection. Works for me. Plus you probably get some dividends over there. All right, so FedEx is probably relatively similar analysis. FedEx, we'll see. Oh, okay, gotcha. She says, my advisor sells the call, so I've been selling puts against to help with the cost. Got it. Beautiful. So FedEx, here is your support resistance line right there on FedEx. Bam, 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 bam. This thing has some good earnings and had a really strong gap. It is definitely a bullish retest gap, and this does serve as a retest. Really, this could be a bracket trade. This would be a bearish counter trend trade if it closed below here. Bearish counter trend. Because it's at some resistance. It is a bullish retest gap. And if it begins to fill that gap, you know, it'd be a bearish counter trend, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Which also could be reasoning for a stop on a trade that looks a little bit like this. So this one would not really be a counter trend trade. That would just be a end of day. If it closes above 164.04, I would say it looks a little bit more bullish than bearish to me. Again, you do have some resistance right about there. And you could also put the trigger up there to wait for a close above there if you want to. Definitely a nice retest gap, and that's the reason I want to close, because I think it's going to trade sideways. So what will likely happen is we'll trade sideways, we'll get some wicks, and we won't close, and we'll have to put the end of day trigger up here anyway. That's more than likely what will happen on FedEx, but you are at a little bit of resistance. You do have a retest gap, which could retest. Here's your weekly chart on FedEx, and FedEx has recovered nicely from where it was. Unbelievable bounce location. Just gorgeous. Good old X marks the spot. Long-term bullish trend line from a good old support, new resistance, classic buying location on FedEx. Talked about some good put sales down there as well. A lot of people got into some spreads. So really, really nice little pop down there on ticker symbol FDX. And I think some of these transports are benefiting from some of the cheaper oil stocks, which, you know, we talked about. It makes a lot of sense if that's the case. CSX, ticker symbol CSX. CSX is a channeling diva. This thing, man, it really does channel very well. So that was a trend line that got broken down. And really, I mean, you could draw this trend, but it's just now forming, and I don't know how strong it is. You are making higher highs and higher lows. So let's not discount that. Boom, boom, boom. You know, so this high is higher than this high. It definitely broke through some like warning signs though, because if you take this fib right here, that is definitely more than 61%. Is a little bit above there, and it broke through. So it definitely got some warning signals down in this area. But you know, we looked at going bearish. Can't remember if we did or not. I don't think we did. But anyway, on CSX at this level, I would love to see this. Don't know if we get it, but I'm going to draw it. I don't personally trade CSX all that often. I know a few of you do. That's what I would like to see occur. And earnings on CSX, not too far in the future. So we got 2 weeks or so left. I'd really like to see that kind of play out. And if we get a level like that and we're looking to buy, that's where I'd like to pick up some action on ticker symbol CSX. All right, time to look at Tesla. Tesla, ladies and gentlemen, we got some buy the bounces set up. A lot of volume came in on Tesla today. You're making some lower highs, making some higher lows. That's about it. A lot of volume, so no fear if it breaks bullish and continues, but it hasn't happened yet. We definitely got ourselves a nice little V-bottom. So we're slowing down. That's the good news. Slowing down on Tesla, a lot of volume coming in. I'm still fine with buying the bounce wherever it occurs, especially if it occurs at 207.81. Some of you might be saying, how are you going to buy the bounce there? If that's what you're thinking, I'm just going to buy it if it comes into that level. I'm going to buy me some calls and place my stop approximately there. Right below this little support, right in there. That's pretty much it. It just depends on when. So I went bearish on that day, thinking we would pull in to that low. That didn't happen. We theoretically could do this, but I don't think we form a double top. There's a lot of volume today on Tesla. After hours, it's up a little bit, 1.23%. So we're actually gapping up at the moment. It's not going to clear this high, obviously, but a gap above 242 would be nice. I will say you could consider a bull put spread on Tesla with a gap up tomorrow. Bull spread on Tesla with a gap up. How about we do this? Let's go look at 205. I haven't done a spread on Tesla since my last one. Tesla. I was going to say I haven't done one in a long time, but I realized it actually hasn't been that long, buddy. Still pretty fresh. Tesla made made March for me. All right, April 205 200. Wow. All right, 205, we're getting 340, and 200 you could buy for 260. That's 80 cents. Okay, let me look at the weekly chart. I'm sorry, it's not weekly, this is the hourly. So we're gapping up. What's the high of this candle? 232.30. So we're gapping up to here. Should be a relatively bullish gap tomorrow. Expecting a relatively bullish gap tomorrow. Tesla fans line up, camp out to sign up for the new Model 3. Model 3 news is ramping up. Could be fun for a 200 205, 200 April bull put spread for 70-cent limit. This might fill in the morning. In the morning. In the morning. All right. Well, I can dig that because I like 207 buying it at that level anyway. Nice high wave candle, really good volume. Let's make it happen. Tesla gapping up a bit right now after hours. After hours. I like the volume today. Spread premium and timing is good also. Boom. So the reason I'm placing that trade is because I have written down that I wanted to buy the bounce, right? So I'm relatively bullish on a pullback. Even though it hasn't pulled back yet, I can do that spread because I like that support down there, and we've been keeping an eye on that. We've been wanting something like that to happen. So 70-cent limit expiring in 2 weeks. What's today's date? 3/31/2016. Tesla 200, 205, and again, it might fill right at the open tomorrow morning. It'll depend a little bit on what's going on, but I will say if it's gapping down huge tomorrow, obviously I'm going to wait for that spread. If we're gapping down below the low, so that's what I'm going to put in. Just in case we open below the low of today's candle in the morning, I won't do spread. Just an FYI. But as of right now, I might keep that one on my watch list a little bit for tomorrow. Just see if I can play something on the option expiration Friday. It's always fun. Tesla. All right. Cool. Right on. Tesla done. All right. Let's hop over here to Tata Motors. Ticker symbol TTM. Tata. Line chart shows some interesting patterns on Tata. Let me show you guys the line on this one, because this stock does gap a lot. Kind of zoom out a little bit here. And Lita, do you still have your shares on this one? I know you trade. I think it was TTTM that you traded a lot not too long ago. A little bit of a support in this region right about here, and that's the most recent pivot there. Trade down there before. A little bit of a cute double bottom. Broke up, trade higher. Here's another little bit of a double bottom, broke up, trade higher. So I'm going with $31 is going to be a pretty good resistance. Oh, it wasn't TTM. What was that auto stock that you traded? Can't remember. I know it was an auto. I thought it was one that gapped often. Might have been Fiat Chrysler. Fiat Chrysler. Okay, cool. I knew it was one of those two. So Tata at some strong support. And it had a nice little double bottom pattern, so very similar to this one. So if we come back over here to a line candlestick chart, we never really retested, but again, TTTM gaps all the time. There's your kind of your retest. So as it pulls into 31, I think there's just gonna be a little bit of a resistance. I don't have a specific trade setup on at the moment, but that's what I'm looking for. Here's a few transport stocks that we did some swing trades on recently. Allison Transmission, so Stan J, he's out of his shares. And he locked in a 1.8 ART profit. So great job on Allison Transmission. Now we're battling the 200. Earnings is coming up, and I want to retest on Allison Transmission. Something like this. So if I'm doing a wave count, I got like a 1, 2, 3-ish, 4-ish, 5-ish is what I'm counting. I would really like to see a sharp decline of some kind and then buy the bounce on Allison Transmission. If we're gonna be buying it again, that's what I'm looking for. If I am trading ALSN again, looking to buy the bounce. Simple as that. And that has pretty similar analysis to Polaris. except Polaris hasn't hit the 200 yet, but I would like another sharp decline. If you got into it once, that was back from the 10th of March, which was this day. And I mentioned I wanted a sharp decline into some moving averages, which is really just, you're just setting a limit buy into the moving averages. There's one opportunity on the 10. Here's another opportunity onto the 20. So really what it's doing now is you're just kind of consolidating. I would like another drop if you're not into either the 20 or the 50. As it consolidates, though, on Polaris, you do have a lot of room for this one to go. So if it continues to trade sideways for a little bit, something like this, trade sideways a little bit and then pops out of there, I think we could make a run for some bullish momentum on Polaris as well. All right, Cummings, ticker symbol CMI, which we've traded before together. Here's CMI. And Cummings, this is the one that I did for another trader. Was asking me to do some analysis on it. So here's what we had. We had a nice little pennant pattern. Broke out above the 100 simple moving average with a great new white soldier. That sounds like a book. The Great New White Soldier. Broke above there, came back down into some moving averages, and you got two really small candles with almost exactly the same high. Very similar sized candles. So that was kind of like a 2-day pennant pattern, just really playing it off the moving averages. Boop! There's the bounce up into some moving averages, and right now we're kind of battling some of these highs. And I think on Cummings, we're going to pause here just a little bit as well. We're also battling the 200 simple moving average on CMI. So really this same setup, looking for a little bit of a pullback is good. Either a pullback or some more sideways action on some of those transports would set it up or prime it up a little bit better for a bullish pop, more than likely. All right, let's check out these two that were brought to me specifically from request. Here is Frontier Communications. So here is some analysis that we had not too long ago. I think we looked at this. Oh, by the way, just in case my webinar crashes, there's a crazy storm going on right now. Oh, Highland's all scared. He always gets scared of storms. Come here, Highland. Little guys are scared of thunder. It's just the gods bowling, Highland. The gods are bowling. Which, if you think about that, that's probably, back in the day, that was probably a pretty good explanation of what was going on, right? They're like, there's the gods again, just bowling away. And if you still believe that, I'm not saying that's not correct. I don't know. We have a pretty good scientific explanation of what we think it is. But bowling could be it too. Just saying. If you're into the Greek mythology thing, there's nothing wrong with that. Here's a random fact about me. I've actually studied a little bit of Greek mythology and Roman mythology. I love the Roman and Greek times. Very good stuff. God of Thor driving his chariot across the heavens. Yep. Might be that as well. Anyway. Cool stuff. All that stuff's fun. All right, so Frontier. What'd you talk about today? Oh, old Greek mythology and trading. Frontier Communications. So this stock, a lot of people were looking at it on the social webs. Had a nice little double bottom, close above the neckline, traded back up, and retest the neckline like a gem. Got a nice little pennant pattern in here, and we mentioned could do a put sale. Not going to be robbing any banks, but there you go. 10 cents is 10 cents. Or if it closes above 543, I would be more bullish than bearish. It did close above 543. So for those of you who are looking into FTR, if you're in, awesome. If you're not, you can set that as a limit buy because it did have a bullish retest gap. And we'll see. Neil says FTR is acquiring FiOS from Verizon effective tomorrow. Whoa. Is it gapping up then or moving? That's a big news. Internet plans. Let me read into these really quick. Telecom stock roundup. AT&T to Verizon to upgrade internet plans. T-Mobile, US 5G, blah, 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 blah. Telecom, Verizon, high-end. Meanwhile, telecom giant announces upgrade reversed overall. Kia. In the wireline segment, Frontier Communications launched its latest line of services branded as Vantage, a premium digital platform to deliver HDTV, ultra-fast broadband, and enhanced voice, and a VoIP service. maybe we'll look into that. We're still trying to see if Click Webinar is the way to go, if we keep them or change. They're decent, but so FTR coming out with a new VoIP. Every VoIP I've ever used. By the way, that's what a webinar is. A VoIP stands for Voice over Interface Protocol or program. They're all B pluses. I've never had an A plus that just worked seamless all the time. Now, again, you can't expect technology to theoretically work all the time, but for the most part, it would be nice. That's good to know. That's really good to know. Here's another one. Frontier revenue mix video services takes larger share. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking to trade FTR. Might pull back a little bit tomorrow. Might be another good buying opportunity. Leo says they have a lot of debt, though. Yeah, most communications do. They're up to their copper wire in debt. I like that. It's a good saying. Here is Alibaba. Our girl Peiju. Want to look at ticker symbol BABA. And here's what I would love more than anything, Peiju. Here would be like my premium A plus setup on Baidu. Is if we could pull back to about here. With a stop right there. Something like this. That's what I would love. That's my A plus. My B plus, so like my second, it's still good. Nothing, it's not terrible. Here's your hourly setup, and it's pretty much what you were looking at, which I dig. I just think it's going to pull back a little bit more, but obviously I don't know for sure. As a wave count on the hourly, got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so an ABC. So it might not pull back all the way to 76, but you're looking at kind of a breakout. And I do dig the breakout, especially if it gaps tomorrow. So I don't know if it happens, but if it stays within that range, so here's what I'll do. 331.16. If it stays within this range, becomes my second favorite setup on BABA. So the one I'm looking to take is if it pulls back to the 76 area. 76, 76.50, 77, something like that. Boom, and place a stop down here, and then go bullish from there. That's my prime candidate. But then if we do trade sideways in this range a little bit, I'm fine with that as well, because it is a bullish retest gap, and it is retesting, and I just like to pull back into those moving averages. You got a little bit of a gap action over here. It's going to be a little bit of a battle, and 87 is going to be a strong resistance. So we'll see. Neil says our home phone service is VoIP from FiOS. Right on. And that's who Frontiers is buying. Leah says, I unfortunately have my phone service with them. It's difficult, but I'd have to say they're worse than AT&T from who they bought. Wow. That says a lot. Frontier Communications, that bad. You guys all know my least favorite communication company, Sprint, followed closely by Comcast. Honestly, guys, here's one of my over 40 plans. And it's probably going to be too late by then. I'm not sure. I just don't have the capital to do it, to be truthfully honest with you. I could probably go get it from a VC, but that's not where my heart is. My heart's not in telecom. I'm telling you, I've said this before, but if any of you guys have a few million or maybe some VC startup funds that you want to throw at a company, just do an internet or a communication or a cable or a phone company that has good customer service that works a lot. You would be the only one. If you were a company that was just, I don't know, good. You know what? Better than subpar. If you were decent, you would get people's business. Now, I realize that a lot of it is state specific and Congress people, which I'm not going to go down the political road, but it's all state locked and gridlocked, and it's hard to privatize, but we'll see. Neil's going to send me a check. All right, sweet, man. Appreciate that. Well, I'm just saying, it's not going to be, it's not going to be a $100,000 venture, I wouldn't think. But there's just a phone company or internet company that's good. Like Comcast, I am still blown away that they're in business. I know that sounds crazy, but it sounds like very, but I am. I'm just blown away that the internet, which it will happen, these guys will go out of business. Maybe that's just me being like a downer Debbie. Probably is, but Lita says, I think one thing that's holding inflation down is that good customer service is going the way of the dodo bird. It's true. It is true. That's one thing that companies, for some reason, don't just understand is crucial to a company. It's like, hey, why don't we just have good customer... why don't we just have great... No, why don't we just have amazing customer service? It's a weird concept, but I don't know. It makes businesses work. That's why we strive to have the best customer service of any stock market education company out there, if you want to call us that. I don't know if you want to call us that or not, but we're always going to try to have the best customer service of all time. It takes good people to make good people, and you guys are good people. Guys, girls, legends, and legendettes from around the world, thanks so much for tuning in for this Transportation Thursday. I'm going to go protect myself from the storm. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place for Finance Friday. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. See ya.